Boys, we're back live. WKU versus UCZ. First round of the playoffs. This UCZ team previously took WKU to Game 5 in a best-of-5 series. This is a team we could lose to.
It is, but I don't anticipate a loss here as we have WKU Black firing on all cylinders. We have Josh playing, or Chicken, playing the best Rocket League I think I've ever seen from him. We have Joe establishing that the Joe show is always in full motion, and we have Hixos, who still has that pop-off potential at any moment of the game.
Right. And none of them are as good as our casters today. We have the Michael Killer Cod over here, Twitter Killer Cod DBZ, right?
That is right.
And we have me, the illustrious J Bell.
Some would call him illustrious. I would call him J-Bell and just leave it at that. But anyways, today, a best of 7 against UCZ. I'm anticipating a good match overall, even if, again, I have it in our favor. But, I mean, who am I if not a biased caster? But I think, regardless, it's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely, Michael. And, yeah, I mean, we're looking out for just some stellar play from our main man, Joe. He has been easily the MVP for this team this season so far. I mean, he's been putting in goals every single time that they need it. Who's to say he's not going to do it again?
Exactly. I don't think, unless if UCZ adapts to Joe quick enough, I genuinely anticipate Joe just slamming double tap after double tap because it seems like his backboard reads have genuinely been a level above everyone else.
Only kind of worry about this team right now is Hixos is low hours.
That is true.
So we don't know how consistent he's going to be tonight, but I expect that Game 5 Hixos is going to play all night tonight.
Hixos is the master of ice, and honestly, I think just due to his experience in general, we're going to see him perform well, and we're going to see everyone hopefully perform well as we're getting into the lobby. Doesn't seem like the other team has joined quite yet, but we'll be right back onto that as soon as they do. And what are you looking out for this first game?
I'm looking out for, if this is the team I'm thinking of with Lord Garamo, I'm looking out for WKU to try and, if WKU's on the back half after kickoffs, they're probably going to lose this series. Their kickoffs have to be solid. Because WKU has shown in the past that their defense is stellar.
Well, the hidden figurative language there is saying that their defense may not be the most wonderful thing, and that's been historically true with our WKU Black team. And J Bell and I were on WKU Black last semester, and our defense wasn't. It wasn't
stop.
that. It was stellar.
Stop.
It was
We're not talking about the best.
absolutely stellar.
Stop that.
And this team is going to break the streak. They're going to have perfect defense. And honestly, I'm looking out for the same thing. I'm looking to see how possession is taken off of kickoff. And I'm looking to see how the team just kind of works with each other. Because that's what's going to win this best of 7, not individual talent. Although Joe could shut me up, honestly.
No,
No?
I think you're right. Teamwork is going to be the make or break for this team tonight. If they get their passing plays going, because UCZ is a very well put together team. They're not going to allow just one player to beat them consistently. They're especially in a best of 7. UC just in general is a organization known for their Rocket League. They know what they're doing. So preparing for a kind of tough match legitimately could be one of their tougher matches in the playoffs. But we are going to be getting into the gameplay. You can stop looking at my beautiful face.
And look at this gameplay that we're going to work on getting. And it looks like it's partially up, but it's not quite filling the entire screen.
Don't worry. I got this. Why is it overwatch? Wait, okay, I got it.
And we've got it.
And we got it.
Look at that. Pretty remarkable.
Put it up on your phone. We are going to be having the game starting relatively soon. The teams have joined the lobby, so we are just kind of waiting on them. Until then, Mike, what's kind of number 1?
Number 1. In the series or in the game?
In this game.
I think it's going to be Hixos taking this kickoff, and we'll see from there. But truth be told, I anticipate... for WKU to really succeed here, I think we need to see some good passing lanes being utilized, and that's going to hopefully result in a win for WKU. But again, it's going to be how they utilize each other. Speaking of utilization, we have OG Chicken starting the playoff. He puts one towards net, but it doesn't quite connect in the way that he would like. Hixos there to collect after a miss from Ezio, and we have some pretty significant lag here. What do you think about that lag?
Wow, I mean, WKU might just be doxing the lobby here. Our computer just struggling to keep up, but the demo coming out from Joe is going to leave a wide open net. Normally, Joe takes that.
That is true. I was anticipating a save coming out of Joe there. Top right clanger saving it into the corner, but he decides to be a good player and let it go in.
Yeah, having trouble composing myself because of my caster here. But a very good play coming out from WKU with the demo. Higso's going to take it up the wall. Burr's going to challenge. Chicken forced to recover, and he's going to go to the wall. This is going to be an unfortunate position for WKU. Higso's up high, going to beat Ezio. Ezio, actually, if I'm remembering correctly, in their last series, had a very strong performance. And he really opened my eyes. Played very well. Speaking of playing well, Ezio getting the demo on Joe. OG Chicken going to hit it off the backboard. He could have the fall here. Guillermo going to hit off his post, but it's going to be a shot. And it's in. Hixos threading the needle, getting it in over or under UC's team. Yeah. Guillermo hitting it off the post, unfortunately. It's going to be a shot for WKU and a goal. WKU going to go up 2-0 with just a minute into the game. Looking bright, and they're doing exactly what we thought. They're playing the team play. They're getting the demos. Ball is getting passed around by UC, but WKU just faster to it. WKU hoping to keep this live.
And OG Chicken now trying to block that Ezio touch, and he absolutely does him. That's a really good beat coming out of OG Chicken here as he tries to go here and center it mid. Joe dropping it. Hixos not quite there fast enough, but I think that's not only a sign of life, but it's a sign of continued pressure coming out of Western, and if they can maintain that, this might be a series that goes directly in their favor.
It's also a huge sign of confidence. If WKU, especially Hixos, is confident, then, I mean, he's just going to do things that don't even make sense in these lobbies. Hixos, one of the most mechanically talented players that I know. When he has his confidence down, his shots are falling. Things just go well. Speaking of falling shots, OG Chicken managing to put on target. Hixos 50ing high. This could be something good. Joe going to put it down. Chicken trying to follow. Actually plays Shadow. Guillermo going to pass it out. Chicken going to play it up to the wall. It's going to be a free ball for WKU. Hixos controlling. Face to flick. Gets the 50. He's going to get another 50 to the wall. But UC should be the one to control this. Guillermo just kind of flying away from it. Burst going to take control. Chicken 50ing. Joe in the play for it. Hixos decides to take it from him. Ezio going to take it up the wall. This is a dangerous position for WKU. Joe, great 50 to keep it live, but that boost spawns for him. He's going to have 100 now. Guillermo dusted. Joe just putting the defense on his back. Makes an amazing play to keep it live.
0-2 in favor of Western at the moment. And speaking of 2, Razzie RL with the subscription for 2 months. Thank you so much. As that subscription is causing our computer to just absolutely lose all sense. And Joe clearing it forward. Is he going to be able to get this tough read? No, burst is there.
Speaking of losing all sense, Ezio gonna be dribbling. Hixos, perfect 50. Guillermo left to play it. Hixos gonna get the 50 again. Chicken gonna show off his medics. Gonna play to the backboard. Burst has to hit to the corner. Joe gonna show up. Might put a shot on. It's on target. Ezio forced into a tough save. And UC has been on the back foot for the majority of this game.
Yeah, and I think Ezio honestly has been the standout player, like you were talking about earlier, how he performed really well in the standard season. It's continuing in this playoff. I think that he is currently the player for UC. He's applying the pressure. He's getting necessary saves. And although Western is up 2-0, I think Ezio is the one that's keeping them in this because 2 goals could tie the series and then go overtime, or they could even run away with it. But right now you can even see a really good attempt at keeping that ball in play out of the corner. But OG Chicken now turning in and trying to control it, but a really good read from Guillermo. Hixos now on the ball with 0, and Guillermo puts a shot on net. Chicken puts it off backboard. Is Ezio going to read it? He's not going to put it exactly on net, but he did threaten it.
And UC managed to keep up pressure with some pretty good plays. Burr's going to play it to the corner. Joe going to be the first to the ball, but Guillermo, big boost steal. Joe actually with 100. Flicks 1. Ezio, reading the defense, is going to put it on target, and he is going to get the goal. WKU just overcommitting in the midfield off Joe's flick.
Yep, Ezio there. Again, as I was saying, he is just having a really good series overall. And it seems like our game audio might be slightly messed up, so we're going to go ahead and try and fix that if we're able to. But 1:06 on the clock, we have Joe versus Burst on the kickoff. Guillermo takes it to the air to go for the solo play. He does set up the double tap. Is he able to do it? He does not do it himself. Ezio now waiting underneath Joe to kind of just see what he's doing, applying pressure. Burst, playing himself to the backboard. What does Guillermo do in response? He tries to put one on net. Is that just going to go directly in? Joe with a really incredible save. Ezio off the bar yet again. Ezio, he's been the star player for UC, but he also needs to be putting these shots away if he really wants to apply the pressure onto WKU Black. Burst now takes a necessary 50 to keep the ball in play. Is anyone there to follow for UC? It's Ezio yet again. Guillermo gets absolutely dusted by Joe. Hixos playing it towards the wall himself, and OG Chicken's there to collect. A bang off the left wall. Is he going to go for the solo read? He is, but Ezio yet again just cutting off any kind of momentum that WKU is trying to establish. WKU in a kind of an interesting situation with a ball that's bouncing up, and it is centered. Joe misses the necessary clear. Ezio keeps the ball in play really well. And we have Joe going for a clear forward. And is that going to be game? Ezio does keep it up, burst in the corner. Ezio tries to center it. Guillermo looking awkward, puts it towards net. But Joe with a really good clear burst now, potentially going for a psycho of some kind. The ball is still currently up. We have OG Chicken who does manage to put it down. And that is game one coming out for Western.
It was a wonderful game coming up from WKU. We're having a bit of technical difficulties with the sound of the end game. Give us just a minute to fix that. But, Mike, if you want to just calm for a bit, what do you think WKU did that game that led them to winning?
I think Hyksos, the score reflects it. I think he was playing a fantastic game of Rocket League. You saw a lot of times when he had the ability to just outplay the opponents and try and take it around him, but instead he actually opted to lose a lot of 50s to his teammates who were there in waiting. And I think that is just a higher level of thinking, and it shows Hyksos or Chase's ability to analyze the game with all of the experience that he has. It's honestly pretty remarkable to see, because throughout this entire semester, it's been a really, really big combination of Hyksos doing what's necessary, Chicken with some good defense, but really Joe is the one showing up. But I think it's a good sign for WKU that Joe doesn't necessarily have to do everything. And I think that that is going to be really good signs for the future. But Joe, man, that post, I guess crossbar technically, that crossbar save was just absolutely incredible. And I really hope that we'll be seeing more of that. But I think in order for Western to really stay on top of the series, they need to keep utilizing each other. They need to keep making sure that they're looking constantly to keep the ball in play within each other. Because again, as you said before the series started, UC is known for their Rocket League. They placed very highly, I believe, second in the Bluegrass LAN that occurred recently. So we're going to see, and this isn't that exact team, but it's still of the same program. So it'll be interesting to see how Western continues to apply the pressure. And here we go. So we have Hyksos after about 20 seconds, bangs the ball forward, and we're waiting now for Ezio to make a play on the ball. Hyksos does have an open net, but that is difficult to apply enough power to get it on net and through the defense. Ezio playing it to Burst. Burst now taking it forward, and he does have a shot angle. Does he get it? No, Hyksos yet again with just a fantastic read on these UC players. A demo coming out, Chicken getting rid of Guillermo. Ezio, does he go for the read? He does. Joe now playing it to himself as the ball pops out. Again, Hyksos is there. This WKU Black team is literally managing to lose these 50s to each other. We have a centered ball high, no one's there to collect. Again, really good poise. He goes for the shot. Burst, well read as we go with the first minute passing in this game too.
Ryan Hyksos, or OG Shaking, I took the flick in the control. I believe our audio issues have been fixed. So if we could just get someone in the chat to confirm that for us, that would be awesome. But BKU playing their hearts out. They're playing together, which is exactly what we said they needed to do. They wanted to win this series. But UC putting up a fight, going for the bumper tips, leaving Guillermo on his own. He's going to send the pass up to Burst. It could be a passing play coming up from UC. Guillermo just overcommitting. He doesn't get the touch. Chicken going to hit it hard. Burst going to send it to the corner. Could potentially be kind of dangerous for WKU. As we know, when WKU is stuck kind of on the defensive half, they tend to make some mistakes. But actually speaking, Joe, perfect drop down to OG Chicken. Chicken going to take the control, goes for the Evo. It's not going to fall, but Chicken managing to follow. Flicks one, gets around the other. Chicken going to have the shot, top corner. Going to drop out. Guillermo up for the read. Joe might have a shot here. 50s two. It's going to go close. Hyksos calls for the ball. He's going to get it. It's going to go shot. Hyksos managing to beat the 3v. Gets the goal off of the great play there from Joe to keep it live. Hyksos poised, calm, and under pressure puts it in.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Hyksos doesn't care. He's just going to continue doing his thing and proving that so far he has been the difference maker for this WKU team. Joe, an absolute screamer of a shot, reading it off that right wall. Honestly, Jay, I think that that is a very good sign of what's to come for the rest of the series.
WKU looks poised and ready. I mean, this is one of the some of the best WKU I've seen yet. They're playing every position what it seems to just be well. Joe is showing out. Chicken's playing his control game. Hyksos is just there for everything. Hyksos, Ezio forced to make a pretty decent touch there. Joe gonna get it back. It's gonna be UC on the defensive half after the kickoff once again. Ezio managing to get the save, but Chicken gonna be first to the ball. It's gonna be a miss coming up from Chicken. Hyksos gonna have to keep it live, and he does. But UC first to it. Guillermo hits it high. He's gonna stay on the control. Bomb's trying to come out. Guillermo missing the ball. Joe's going to have control here. Ezio, 50. Joe, 50. Once again, Hixos gets a touch. It's actually a fly ball for UC. He should be able to take this ball here. Hixos, the miss on the fly ball read. Joe going to keep it live. Joe taking control here. He's going to hit it around. Ezio had a shot on target potentially, but Joe going to end up with it. We're looking to solo play here. We might just see the Joe show come out once again with the Arsenal. First, going to get the save. Pass going out mid, but no one's there. But Guillermo going to take control. Be slow though. WKU able to recover.
We're seeing a really interesting development in this team where it looks like UC isn't honestly managing their boost super well. And what's happening is because it looks like there's normally only one player that has healthy amounts of boost, and normally that player is Ezio, he's able to be effective. But WKU, I think it's a combination of just outpacing and outpressuring this UC team, which is making it very difficult for UC to collect any kind of meaningful boost.
And you also seem way more comfortable under this pressure. You're seeing coming out from UC a bunch of like kind of missed touches coming out from a couple of players, maybe due to the pressure. But speaking of pressure, net going to be wide open. WKU committing just a little too hard, and that really is WKU's biggest weakness. When they get confident, their offense is all up. It's all in. They put the chips in, and just this time they got folded.
Going all in is worth it sometimes, but doing it consistently can be dangerous, and I think it was a similar goal in Game 1 coming out against WKU. We have Ezio now on the backboard. Hixos, does he go for the shot? He actually goes to send it up. Burst just waits for it. Joe opts to send it high. Josh with a really good keep in, and Joe skies it slightly, a little bit too high. Hixos, a really good read coming out of keeping in play. Does he get the 50? He does. Keeps in the corner. OG Chicken with a very important, just honestly full-on assault. Manages to 50 multiple players here. Does Joe go for the pass? He does. And Josh, otherwise known as Chicken, does not exactly get the pass off as well as he would have liked to.
Absolutely right.
And here we go. So we have Burst, and he flies past the ball a little bit too much. Hixos backing it up. Doesn't quite get it in the way that he wanted to. Chicken sends it forward, and Ezio is there to read it very quickly. Hixos plays it towards the wall. Is any of WKU Black going to be ready for it? Not quite. Is that shot on? No, it's not. Bouncing off the backboard. Speaking of bouncing, we have Burst in the air. He sends it forward, and Hixos is just hitting it off to the sidewall, but he continues it himself.
BKU playing very well here, managing to keep it on their defensive, or they're on their defensive half, but they're managing to keep their forwards. They look super comfortable right now. I mean, WKU is playing just the exact game that they came in deciding to play, and UC really just doesn't have an answer for it. But ball's going to be kept alive. Game is 1-2. This could very potentially go into overtime. It's in WKU's half. Ezio leaving the ball for Burris. Joe going to hit it hard. It's probably going to be kept up. No, Ezio unable to reach it. WKU going to go up 2-0 in the best of 7.
First game we had Hixos coming alive. This second game we had Joe showing that the Joe show is still intact. MVP with 1 goal, 1 save, 4 shots. And honestly, the shot differential between both of these teams, you can see that Western is just applying more pressure than UCZ is able to. And honestly, I think if we see UCZ utilizing each other a little bit more, if we see a little bit more of calculated offense in the form of control, I think that they'll be a bigger threat to Western. Although the score differential, in both games haven't been astounding. I believe WKU leading by 1 in both games. It doesn't matter because once Western has that pressure, they just keep you in the oven until you're cooked.
That's absolutely right. I mean, WKU has been firing on all fronts so far, and UC just hasn't had an answer for it. You saw the shot differential. Sure, the game scores have been close, but I mean, when you have these kind of shots, you're going to win games. The team that shoots more generally wins. WKU's been.
Absolutely, and that also follows with my ones games. I have absolutely no shots, so I'm losing, but Hixos making sure that he doesn't look like me out there. We have him taking a very high 50, which is a good play. OG Chicken not quite there to collect in the way that he would like to. We have Hixos taking a very solid 50. Ezio playing it around 2. Is it open? It is open. Have a slight overconnect kind of Western. Where do you think the crack started to show in the play?
It really showed when OG Chicken last man went for the high pierce. Maybe potentially he was reading from the ball coming across, but Joe kind of getting adjusted by Ezio there. Ezio showing why he's the best player on UC. He is a threat, definitely. You have to watch out. This UC team is going to stay in the game. They're well coached, well poised, and UC Bearcats isn't worried. They're ready for these situations.
100% ready for this situation. That comes their way, and OG Chicken doesn't unfortunately get it net in the way that he would like to, but it is still available in the play. Kind of takes a 50. That could go awry. Ezio pops it up to make it awkward. Hixos is already up, plays it to the corner. Really good read coming out of him. OG Chicken, another really good read. Guillermo doesn't quite get the touch he's looking for. Joe opts to go for the double tap. He does get it, but he looks low on boost. Tries to pass it down to Hixos. Hixos playing it forward, and OG Chicken full committing on that. Again, it's what causes teams to panic when you have all three WKU players just being so confident on their half. But again, it's also the reason why they've been scored on every single goal this series.
Absolutely. I mean, WKU's plan is just all offense. If they go to defense, things get bad. You get a bad burst. Almost had the shot there. Flips away. Joe forced into the save. Don't go double tap. Unfortunate for Joe. He almost had the save there. UC taking their time and just firing when WKU overcommits. They've changed their style a little bit. WKU in the last couple games have been playing so fast and so aggressive that UC didn't really know what to do. But this time around, UC just the time of controlling. They're just keeping the ball, and they know once they get it off their half, WKU falters a lot of the time. All they have to do is counter.
Exactly. Speaking of counter, I think so far UCZ is playing kind of a counter-harassive style where they're constantly pressuring WKU, and WKU so far isn't really poised enough to handle it as we get a bounce shot coming out of Ezio. Joe tries to take a 50. He does end up taking a 50, but Hixos now attempting to take a 50, but Josh, otherwise known as Chicken, his last bag, Hixos does manage to play it forward. Ezio goes up the back wall. Hixos tries to put it in himself, doesn't quite get it. Guillermo turning at light speed. Ezio to collect from the backboard. Ezio, what does he do with it? He plays it over Joe, but Joe gets a slight touch back to play it back to Hixos. Ezio now, really good mechanics coming out of him to recover on no boost as he is out of the play, but as you can see, he's there in the corner to play it himself.
Absolutely. I mean, excellent recoveries coming out from Ezio. Ezio showing his mark on this series so far in this game. So he's going to throw in a fake challenge. Burst's going to have the air dribble. It's going to be tough for WKU. Hixos hits it wide. It's going to be controlled for Joe, but he's in a tough spot. Chicken taking from him. Chicken, zero boost. Doesn't know what to do. Guillermo's going to get this ball so high. Joe in a tough position. Ezio going to try and hit under him. Joe, great read to get to that ball. Hixos going to take control here. So he's going to dribble. It's a 50 to first. Joe going to try and put a shot on. Going to be saved by Guillermo, and Chicken going to have control. Has to play it into the corner. Burst. 50. Chicken going to keep the ball. Tries to get it around. It's not going to go around. Ezio going to have control. Hixos left in a 1v1, but Ezio zero boost. Goes for the demo. Gets it. It's all up to Chicken. Chicken backflips. Gets the Evo save. Chicken, amazing play there. Even if it wasn't entirely intentional.
We see Burst here trying to play it immediately to Ezio. Dare I say we're seeing the exact opposite situation as we have a miss coming out of Guillermo there. But this genuinely looks like the teams have switched nameplates and they have switched ideas. We currently have WKU on the back foot the entire game due to this unrelenting offensive pressure coming out of UCZ. And we're seeing an issue. I've been looking at the boost meters coming out of Western. They haven't been able to collect many big pads in this series, and it looks like roughly one at a time. So there we go. We have OG Chicken taking a very high aerial challenge, and he does get it past, but Joe, low. Burst manages to get a save on a Hixos shot that wasn't exactly the best place, but at the same time, he couldn't have placed it much better due to the lack of resources. Ezio plays it over one. Is Burst there? He is. Joe with a really important save to keep WKU in this game. With 1 minute left, roughly, how are they going to respond to this pressure?
WKU has to start scoring now, but UC is still holding all the pressure and all the boost. You see Ezio taking the big pads, making it hard for WKU to stay in this game. WKU, what they need to do is they need to start getting some bumps potentially off this half, start doing some kind of passing plays out. They're just getting shut down. WKU's been trying to solo play out every time. They don't have to boost forward. They have to pass out. I don't mean pass out by falling asleep either. I mean they have to actually pass.
100%, and it's kind of like what we were talking about before the actual game started. We're seeing a situation where WKU aren't really utilizing each other in the ways that they should. UCZ just getting very physical in WKU's third, and it's causing them great anguish. And do we see a goal come out for Western? We do not. Hixos tries to pass it mid. Ezio, just again, fantastic reads. Burst playing it to the corner as my co-caster is expelling something in the corner. We have Hixos going for the infinite air dribble. Burst falling, but not out. Ezio with the pre-flip. Hixos keeps the ball in, and Chicken is there. Is Chicken going to do it himself? He is not going to do it himself. Really good defensive stand coming out of UCZ. Ezio challenges the ball, and Ezio leaves his mark not only on this series, but on this game as they take one for themselves.
It's going to leave the game score 2-1 for WKU Black. This was a UC that has not appeared these last couple games. And this was an Ezio we have not seen yet. He really took over this game in this lobby. Ezio was primed, poised, and ready, making his mark on nearly every single play. His passes were there. His 50s were there. He was super controlled. But UC as a whole were playing they were passing. First of all, passing, which is something that WKU did not do this year in this game. WKU, the reason they were winning a lot in the last couple games, if I can be so inclined to say, is they were passing. They were passing well. Everybody was following every touch, but it seemed like this was a less confident WKU this game.
It was. I think we have a situation where we have a UCZ who was playing more confident. They were looking for each other more. But we have a WKU who's regressed slightly. And whether that's their individual confidence or it's the effect of UCZ playing a stronger game and they haven't quite figured out a game plan in the game to attack, we don't know yet. But we'll see with this game 4, as I believe this is going to be the momentum game for the series. If UCZ take this game, WKU Black could be in some major trouble. But if WKU Black win, they're on match point and they only need one more pass there.
Right, and WKU plays best under this kind of pressure, and we're going to see it here with the challenge coming up from Hixos. Ball's going to end up to the wall. Joe and Hixos playing on the wall. OG taking last back. He's going to play it. Pass played high. It's going to miss. It's going to be a shot. Hixos reading it. But UC, once again, they have all the pressure. Joe going to get the bang. Ezio forced him to a save. Excellent play from WKU to survive that onslaught. But really needed to grab that. They wanted to keep the pressure high. In control. It's going to go around 2. Chicken might have a shot, and that's a goal coming out from OG Chicken and Hixos. And what did I say? The passing. As soon as the passing started coming out, Hixos, great touch here. Great touch off the back wall. 2 UC players just slightly overcommitted, and it's a goal coming out from our very own OG Chicken.
The story of this series is overcommitting being a genuine issue, and we can see there with OG Chicken. He was ready for the pass if Hixos had gotten it past both. But truth be told, I don't know if that ball should have gotten past the UCZ defense. Ezio just not quite set up in a proper way to defend and play the ball for his teammate. And it cost them a goal. But we have OG Chicken now playing it forward off the right wall. Ezio is deciding to go behind burst, letting him play it first. This is the more structured defense that we've come to expect out of UCZ. Guillermo going for a pretty difficult backboard read out of his own corner. Ezio just waiting for Hixos' touch. He goes for something absolutely outrageous. I haven't seen that since the high-end era. We're waiting here, burst, just playing off to the corner. Ezio takes a touch off of pretty much the ceiling. We're seeing some challenges and some balls coming out of Narnia. This is absolutely ridiculous. OG Chicken with 0 boost. Does he read it himself? He almost does, but that demo, Ezio getting Hixos in the crossfire, that has made it so WKU, their lead is only by 1.
That's right. That's right, bud. WKU playing very well here. Hixos going to put it high. Joe on the backboard trying to use his curse technique. Gets the touchdown. Guillermo reading it. Gets the 50 on Hixos. Guillermo going to have to be the one to follow it. But with 7 boosters, not much you can do. He plays it not as well as you could have. Burst going to backboard. I bet Ezio's up for it, and he is. Good shot, but OG Chicken laughs at it. Hits the save. Guillermo up for it. Gets the 50. It's going to go back. Ezio's going to have control here. Probably takes to his back corner. No. Fakes out everybody. It's going to be a Hixos 1v3. He's just not going to be able to save that. WKU overcommitting hard once again. Need a simple domain or something.
Something like that, because honestly, UCZ right now doing a money spread all over WKU. It's been an interesting situation where I believe that UCZ is just literally holding on to each other better, not only with keeping possession, but they're actively looking at where they're rotating. They're looking, hey, how can I play this ball for my teammate in an effective way? And that bang there, while it might look like they gave away possession, it was essentially necessary because the UCZ player who hit it did it simply to buy their teammates time.
Yeah, and that's really been the difference in these last couple of games. Is that WKU is no longer playing for WKU. They're playing individually. Even the passing play that came out at the start of the game, which was exactly what WKU needed, was off of an individual play. You just can't do that consistently. Even if, I would say WKU has more star power individually here, with players like Hixos, Joe, and Chicken. 2 of them GC2 consistent, the other WKU with some star power here, but they can't work out through their team structure here. You see, we look at the upset WKU.
This would be a major upset as WKU Black is either the the first or second seed in this WKU NACE Varsity Plus bracket. The playoffs here are huge. If you win 3, you win the entire NACE League. Or WKU Black last semester being the first to ever do so. as we have Joe taking a 50 that ends up mid. Is someone there to follow? Josh, who has knows OG Chicken. They're playing it to the corner himself, but Ezio is just there to immediately read it. Hixos now popping it in the air. OG Chicken summoning a stand or something because, my goodness, our computer smells like chicken right now. And we're waiting here, and we have a very interesting situation where Burst plays it for himself.
I don't know about our computer smelling, but what does smell is that pinch. That was nasty coming out from Chicken and Hixos. Demo coming out on Hixos. Joe gonna keep it in. Ezio playing it high. Mike Caster is dying here. Ezio in the dribble. Hixos gonna take the control here. Gonna get it over one. The Burst ready. Puts the shot on. If that bump came out, that could have been a go. Joe keeping it up. Michael, stop. Joe hitting it in the middle. Chicken 50-2. This is going to be tough for UC to keep in, but Hixos missing the touch. Ezio with control, but low boost. Flicks one. It's going to be a shot. Joe with the save. Joe keeping it live. Might put a shot on here. It's going to go. Guillermo forced into a save. Chicken going to be first one to the ball. Chicken tries to get it. He gets beat. Hixos on it. Free time. Low boost. Going to hit it right. No one's there to follow. Joe rotate it back. Joe be the first one to this ball. Ezio 50. It's going to go high. Should be a WKU follow. It is. Chicken beat by Guillermo. Hixos with the ball. Guillermo 50. Go high, Burst with the control, but low boost can't follow. WKU double committing. Wasting their boost. Boost is a precious commodity, especially in this series, in this demo. Come out, Burst gets it on Hixos, but that's not the player he was chasing. He's gonna go wide. WKU gonna keep it. They managed to survive the initial onslaught, but a couple mistakes there, and this game could potentially be over.
Absolutely, as we see an overtime looming here for both teams. Joe versus Burst on this kickoff. This is gonna be an interesting situation, where I think truly the way that these teams are able to utilize each other is going to determine the rest of the series. As I said initially, this game 4 is the most important thing. Ezio does manage to play past WKU. However, I would say that that was more so on the fault of WKU. A good play with the air dribble, the flip reset. However, I don't think it was calculated enough from the defense of WKU Black. And as we go into this game 5, I think it's going to be very, very necessary that WKU take a look at how they're trying to utilize each other and see if they can do it in a more effective manner.
Right, and I mean... Huh? My caster is tweaking off. But WKU, they really need to start, playing together more, just as you said. They are not a cohesive unit right now, and UC was. That last play coming out from Ezio, sure, it was nice. Good on him to get the flipper set, get the shot. But WKU had way too many blind spots, and you saw Joe flipping over Chicken. Chicken couldn't even jump for it if he wanted to. So WKU really just making the game way too hard on themselves. They need to go back to their roots, make the passing plays, make the simple touches, and WKU wins this game. But this upcoming game is the most important game in the series, other than the final game. I believe if WKU loses this next game, then they probably lose the series.
Absolutely. It's a momentum shift. This game was the momentum shift. However, anything can go any direction. The winds can change, and we'll see if WKU Black can get this more so aligning with themselves. But I have to give their roses when it's necessary. UCZ, I think they're playing a great game. We have Baby Yoda on Guillermo's car. And here, Ezio taking a 50 off the kickoff. Does Burst have the shot? That's a very good shot and a very good save coming out of Joe. Guillermo now going for an absolutely interesting fast aerial read. However, it does apply pressure. OG Chicken playing it past the one. Does he do it himself? It looks like he's going to. It looks like he's going to. And not quite. We have its center coming out of Joe. And Hixos is there to follow Joe's touch. This is the WKU that we were accustomed to this whole season.
Let's go. That's all I can say. WKU riding on the back of OG Chicken. Chicken with the outplays, the flick. Hixos managing to finish the shot. We're going to be going into the second kickoff of this game.
Yeah, so we have Ezio now out of the corner looking to play it himself. Have a ball that is bouncing off the ceiling, and Hixos now trying to take a really immediate challenge. And what's happening right now is our computer's falling apart. But other than that little tidbit, we have Josh, OG Chicken, who challenges quickly. But honestly, that was a good play coming out of UC. We have a really fast touch here coming off the side while we have OG Chicken, who tries to read it literally as fast as possible. But you have to give credit to Ezio when it's due. Really quick read and a really quick shot coming out of UCZ.
I'm extremely biased to WKU. But that was a good play from UC.
OG Chicken out playing it himself. Bounces off the back wall. Ezio throws it back. Burst. Just launches it to the right wall, but Joe is there, and Joe is there to scare. We have a pop coming out of UCZ. I don't even know what's going on. Absolute pandemonium on the field.
Ixo's gonna touch the ball. He's gonna try and flick it forward. Burr's gonna get the challenge. Ixo's keeping with it. Burr's gonna hit it wide. OG Chicken getting to 50 up. Ixo's trying to play out, just getting out. OG Chicken 0 boost though. He's gonna have to take the 50. He's gonna go good for WKU. But Ezio reading once again. Ixo's good 50. He's gonna win the boost. Gets the 50. Beats Garamo. Burst. Getting high. Ixo's not a great touch. Chicken just wasted 300 boost and he missed. He's gonna go high. This net's open. UC tries to put it on, but put down their purse or something, because that is just not a good shot. We're trying to be the first one to do it. Garamo making me eat my words. Reads the pass. Puts it in top corner, but realistically, WKU should have been to this.
I think we're seeing a situation where WKU are struggling in the comms department. We have Joe there with a pass out mid, but OG Chicken wasn't ready for it, and Ixos was just left backwards, upside down, left and right, sitting in the front post of that net, not anticipating that pass to immediately be read by the UCD offense. Ixos now here to collect for himself, plays it up onto the wall himself. Ixos tries to go all the way, but again, I think what's happening is the way that they're trying to orchestrate these passes is just being immediately read by the UCZ defense. And we really need WKU to analyze more creative passes. Again, Joe is getting the ball away from himself. Although Guillermo kind of doing a similar thing. We have a slightly panicked defense coming out from UCZ as Joe has to stretch to make that save. We have Chicken not picking up the boost. Guillermo causing as much destruction as possible, and Burst is there to read it. This UCZ is reading WKU every part of the field.
And it really just comes down to the boost. At this point, WKU has not had the boost. Ezio had a chance to put that top corner. It was a great passing play coming out from UC. And once again, UC gonna get another goal off of a WKU overcommit. WKU not playing their style. They're not playing Rocket League right now. Their columns are short. It just feels like WKU getting outplayed on every single front.
You can tell by the way that they're approaching this game where they're truthfully not connecting in every way that they should be. You saw in the games that WKU won, they were controlling the midfield, they were controlling their opponent's third, and regardless of what was happening on their half, it didn't matter because they were playing for each other. But so far, I've seen some pretty interesting passes coming out, and that was a good play coming out from Western, but it was immediately read and blocked by this UCZ. Whatever their coach is telling them, it worked, and I hope that WKU's coach can help them out and tell them some things that could help them get right back on track.
What WKU really needs to get out of. They've had none still. They know they need it. WKU trying to play it high. Burst gonna hit it wide. Ezio controlling. Beats one. Beats two. Ezio gonna have a bit of a free reign here. Do what he wants. Joe trying to recover. It's gonna go around him. It's an open net. WKU once again. They just got. Honestly, there's no other way to say it. They just got cooked. Ezio putting his mark on the series. He wants it.
Before he put his mark on the series in games, now he's stamping it with a hot iron. It is not going away. 4-1 in favor of UCZ with 140, excuse me, 1 minute and 40. I'm sorry, I can't do math and I also can't read.
140 meters going into this game. Joe gonna have control of it. He's gonna hit it top corner first. Ready for it. Gets the save. Ezio gonna hit high. Chicken beating. Joe beating. Ball is gonna.
And we see that burst when he went for that save. He immediately, the save that occurred a little bit ago, it was in the top left of his net, immediately hard red. And what I noticed about that is, again, it gives credence to what we've been saying. This UCZ defense is so structured at reading everything that WKU is setting up, and OG Chicken passing absolutely no one. Is it another goal? It is, and we have all three players who are essentially committed, not just in the opponent's third, but I would say the opponent's penalty box. That was a really unfortunate challenge coming up.
So there was actually a Rule 1 going on in the net. That was cool. We don't see that often. But that was bad for us. Don't look at me like that. WKU will be playing up the kickoff here. This game essentially lost to them. This is pretty much UC's game to win. WKU need to be looking at how can they get momentum going into the next game. Going into the next game, which is going to be a game point. Joe beating Chicken up for it. He's going to be wide by first. The Chicken hitting onto the corner. Ezio there to follow burst on it, and you see they are playing lights out Rocket League.
They're playing lights out Rocket League, and I don't think WKU, barring a huge mental change, is going to be able to overcome this momentum. But Chicken might start it here. They still have 17 seconds on the clock, and if they get a consolation goal, it could be absolutely massive for their confidence going into Game 6. And as you stated, it is match point for UCZ. OG Chicken now leaving it for Joe. It does seem like some comps came out there, so he knew to leave it for him.
Winnable.
Absolutely winnable, as we will see the rare hack client that can change goals in games, but that is not going to happen currently. And we're going to go into Game 6 here, and it's going to be interesting to see, honestly, what happens to this WKU team in this extra minute.
They have to change something. They can't keep doing it. They went up 2, lost 3 in a row. They have to win this game. I mean, obviously because it's game point, but also just for their mentals.
Yeah.
Like, this is their final game of the series. Or not final game of the series. This is
Hopefully
it.
not.
They're done. It's over. But WKU playing for their lives now. They did not expect to be in this situation going in. Full confidence coming from WKU. And they've lost their confidence.
They have lost their confidence, and again, it's what we said in Game 3. We have a UCZ who is starting to play very, very well in essentially every way. We have a WKU who's struggling to connect defensively, offensively, in the midfield. They're struggling to get boosts. The demos aren't coming out. Realistically, their entire game needs to shift in this Game 6 to enable each other as much as possible, because honestly, after Game 1 and 2, we don't have any standout players. We have players who are getting a lot of saves. Joe in this game with 4 saves himself. But that's because they're being outshot. That's because they're on their half the entire time. That's because they don't have enough boost. And I think, honestly, we need to see a structured team WKU. Prayers coming out that happens this next game.
Michael, this has to be it. Match point. Game 6 coming out for WKU. Joe and Guillermo on the kickoff. It's going to be a 50-50. Joe staying to it. First, puts a shot. Chicken. It's already... WKU already on the defense half. Ezio, perfect 50. This should be a free control for Joe. But Joe, scared of the ball, throws it away. This is going to be tough for WKU if they're going to play like this. They have to keep control. They have to make these passes, or else WKU is going to lose this game.
There's something else I'm seeing that came out of that corner situation where, oh, as we have a shot coming out from Joe, but it doesn't quite connect in the way it should. Ezio with a fantastic read. But we're seeing a WKU who isn't maintaining their momentum in the most beneficial way. We had Joe there who flew forward to try and play the counter-aggressive when realistically he needed to get back and support his teammates. And Chicken, unfortunately, not quite there in the way that he needs. He's kind of watching the play develop in front of him, but again, I think he's expecting a touch out of Hyksos. That's a lack of comms, that's a lack of confidence, but that is a great shot coming out from UCZ.
It's alright. I don't want to praise him.
Well, I will be the slightly less biased caster and say that UCZ is playing fantastic. Rocket League, as we have another shot coming out from Joe. Ezio with yet another save. Chicken pops it up himself. Hyksos tries to go for maybe a center or a shot. I honestly couldn't tell in that situation. But Guillermo trying to play a pass, but yet again, Ezio is there immediately to collect it. They are losing these 50s intentionally to each other, in the ways that I was complimenting Hyksos initially. We have a ball that's kind of flying down. Hyksos jumps for it. Joe, not entirely sure if he was expecting Hyksos to go or not, but honestly, that's a really good touch from Joe. Hyksos double commits with him, Josh, with a necessary touch, and we have a WKU team who is currently trying to reset.
Been on the back foot for a while now. WKU, they need a goal, and they need a goal now. They haven't, I don't think they've scored a genuine goal in the last 4 minutes of the last game. I believe they scored an early goal in the last game, and now they've gone into this game. I mean, it's been all UC all the time with a passing play coming out. It's not looking good.
This is not looking good, but I have to give the roses to Ezio. He was the catalyst of that play, taking it as high as he could to give himself more options, grabbing the reset while falling, passing it left to his teammate who was just waiting. I believe it was Guillermo. Fantastic shot, honestly. The shot placement was good. There was a defender in WKU's net, but the reset, just adding enough variation for WKU to struggle to read it as quickly as necessary. But man, it's really impressing me how this UCZ team came alive as we have Guillermo going for a powerful shot. Hyksos playing it off his backboard. Ezio with a demo is burst there. Almost Joe reaching for that save, and he does get it. But again and again and again, what are we seeing? We're seeing low boost amounts for Western. We're seeing a Western who did just get a demo on Guillermo, but that might be the first demo I've seen Western get in over a game.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. WKU stuck on the back half consistently. Ezio getting the demo on Hixos. WKU on the back foot. They may have possession, but they don't have the ball, if that makes sense at all. UC, going to try and keep it first. Tries to play it high. Hixos with the challenge. He's going to go. Ball. Hixos not coming alive in these last couple of games. Best, but plays have not been falling for WKU. UC, reading again. Chicken forced into making the touch. It's not a great touch. Joe, going to pass it back to Hixos. Hixos leaving the boost. Gonna have 5, trying to go for this. Gets the 50, but it's for Guillermo. Shot could have came out. Guillermo deciding to play time. Joe, first one to it. Joe, trying to show his mechanics. Gets the pass mid. Hixos just too slow to it. Ezio reading. Potentially, we need someone to pop off.
And that was the play from Chicken, but no one's there to collect on it. I can't believe that there wasn't a WKU player waiting in the midfield for that touch. I mean, essentially, with only 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes left on the clock, you have to start playing the best option here. You have to say, forget what's happened in the games that we lost. We just need to play our game. We need to be aggressive. And Joe, a crucial miss. And that might seal the deal, but we still do have a minute 20 to determine the rest of this game. But it seems like WKU's kind of grasping at straws. We don't have a good identity. We're not playing Western ball, and we're seeing WKU Black just really struggle to put the pieces together. This is a jigsaw puzzle that was initially put together, but it's becoming unreal.
Right. I mean, the puzzle fell off the table. WKU have had chances to score in this game, and they keep falling flat, whether it be towards passes not coming, whether it be towards missed shots. WKU leaving their net open again. This goes in, that seals the deal. You like we've done this game in this series. This is a horrible upset for WKU.
And WKU coming as one of the favorites to win their entire division here. To be, dare I say, dominated in this series the way that they have post game 2. It's a testament to the mental resilience of UC, to be honest, but it's also a testament to how, as we said initially, what was going to determine this series is how WKU was utilizing each other, and again, no one's there to capitalize on that open net. Burst obviously for Ezio. Ezio slow plays in round 1. Tries to get the 50 on Chicken. I think he actually did, but Chicken playing a decent one. Guillermo playing it right to Burst. Again, we're seeing absolute selfless Rocket League coming out of this UC team, and it's not only putting WKU through the ringer, but it's putting them 6 feet under.
See, I mean, they're playing, pitch perfect Rocket League. Look at these passes coming in. You would not expect this to be a team that had lost in the way that they did. WKU, I agree with you, been utterly dominated in this last 4. I mean, tough play coming out. UC played excellent. That was some of the best Rocket League I have seen come from a team in a minute. Their passes were there. Their shots were there. Ezio, really impressive. Topped the leaderboard nearly every game. I think Burst had a game with 700.
Something like that.
But Ezio, just a mechanical monster for UC. Did everything they needed and more. And WKU just left behind. They couldn't get out of their half. They couldn't get any boosts. They couldn't get any shots. And eventually they couldn't even get any confidence.
And Ezio was a mechanical monster, but we have to also praise him for his ability to facilitate plays. Obviously, he was the standout player for this UCZ team, but he utilized his teammates in the best way possible. If he didn't feel like he had an optimal play, he passed it off to them. And likewise, both of his teammates, regardless of Burst's really good game, even the games where he was just doing what was necessary, he was looking for Ezio, he was looking for Guillermo. And honestly, I think WKU just struggled to adapt in time once they started firing on all cylinders.
That's absolutely right. If you want to talk about passing, the kind of highlight player, in my opinion, bar Ezio, is Guillermo. Surprisingly enough, Guillermo, mechanically wise, wasn't the best player in this lobby, but he would make the right decision nearly every time. He made the passes he needed to. He was in the positions he needed to. And even if he didn't get the touch he wanted, it was good enough.
It was good enough. The way that he was controlling the pace of the play in general in WKU's half, I honestly think that, he is an underrated MVP for that series. And that does indeed wrap up this WKU Black's season in the NACE Varsity Plus League. Still, I think it's a fantastic showing overall. This team kind of coming together last second, and there was actually a roster switch in it, with Surf being replaced with OG Chicken. But I'm still proud of the boys. I think the boys had an amazing season. This was one day, and honestly, it was well done.
I mean, sucks that WKU season ends here, but highlight of the season definitely was how well they played during the regular season. WKU doing excellent throughout the regular season, and even if in the playoffs they didn't exactly get what they want, we knew going in that UC would be potentially the toughest team they play. They were the only team to take WKU to Game 5. I believe WKU beat them during the regular season,
Yes.
but they were definitely one of their toughest opponents, and we knew going in this would be a tough game. And I mean, I don't even know if WKU Red beats that team the way they played tonight.
UCZ firing on all cylinders. And again, that is going to conclude both the season and the stream for tonight. Thank everyone for tuning in. We appreciate you as always, and we hope you guys have a wonderful day or night wherever you're at.
Bye bye.
Peace.